right. So without further ado, let's go on ahead and get started. I've tried to kind of divide this up like we would, like the worksheet is, so that I'm going to kind of cover, I'm a teacher by nature. That's what I went to school for. And so I want to just kind of cover what I believe kind of the steps are for you to be able to get ready to have a successful holiday time. So I've been doing Black Friday, Cyber Monday at my own family's golf course for almost 10 years now. I started it mostly because I'm like super techie and I like to challenge myself. And so I wanted to see if there was a way for us to be able to pursue that. And I am in Iowa. And so we, once the snow falls, there is no one that comes to the golf course. And so we really never ever had a very big Black Friday holiday sale at all, because it's kind of a destination to be able to drive to the golf course. And so I thought, well, I'm going to try to do something online instead and kind of make that easier for my golfers. And so over the years, I experiment, I do different things almost every year. And then since coming on to Teesnap, I kind of help to take care of our managed marketing golf courses as well, the managed marketing services, and help push that program along. And so now I have, a great experience where I'm able to work with, a ton of different golf courses. Different things work for different people. So I'm going to give you a bunch of different ideas that we have seen over the years that work well. And then hopefully you can find which one works best for you. So the best thing where your mind needs to be when you're talking about putting together products is that you're marketing on a national scale, and so you want to make sure that you're grouping things or thinking of things that maybe might be a bit unusual. So every year in my newsfeed I always see this stupid bath mat that where you can practice putting while you're using the toilet. This is just totally impractical, but the fact is that people purchase that. And they purchase it because they love a golfer, and they don't know, all they know is the person loves golf, and they don't know how to actually, make that be, they don't know, how to get something. So, you sell all these kinds of trinkets. You can go to, Walmart, Target, all that kind of stuff. There's all these like really silly golf packages that are grouped together. But guess what? They sell because people like buying things that are designed for a golfer. So I just want your mind to kind of be in that place, because you might just look around your pro shop or kind of think of things, that you could possibly group together that you may not necessarily have thought about grouping together before. So what I mean by that is, maybe it's a range, maybe it's 4 buckets of balls and 4 lessons. Maybe it's a birthday party design where you're incorporating your food and beverage and a party room. Things that you could, kind of sell together as a group, and it makes it so that it's a little bit unusual compared to the products that they get from your golf course the rest of the year. And then I also recommend a different approach of online versus if you decide to do something at your shop. So online, it's super important that you do not make them have to drive out to, pick up the punch card, pick up whatever the product is. So try and, whether that is an email follow-up. So next week when I train you on the website, we're also going to be talking about how to add a product and then how to add an email that follows that product, so that if you want to, supply them with, something that they could print and then, give to their golfer or all those types of things, whatever we can do to avoid them actually having to drive, particularly if you're in a northern state where, snow and ice, might be an option. And then, inside, if you're doing something inside, now you can kind of look at those products inside of your pro shop, and you can decide, what you want to group together, possibly even, put them in an attractive basket and wrap them. Whatever you can do to make shopping easy for people is always a plus. And then in the times of COVID, we obviously haven't done this before, but you might consider doing some sort of a pickup service. So, what I mean by that is maybe you are selling portions of your pro shop. You don't want to make it be super difficult for you, but maybe if it's a a package where it's, you know, a sleeve of balls, a round of golf, and, you know, a range bucket or something like that. I'm just kind of throwing stuff out. But something where it would have a piece of physical thing that someone would give. And, you know, we could put something like that in your online store, and then you could have, you know, pickup service on Fridays from, you know, whatever, 1 to 3 or something like that. So anyway, just these are just kind of things you just want to kind of brainstorm through what would work best for you to be able to get that product out. And then I'm going to go over a list of things that our managed marketing services have found over the years work best for the most amount of sales. So gift cards obviously are, you know, a huge seller. For me personally, you know, Teesnap does the virtual gift card through the email. What I do is I create a gift card that looks like a business card, and that way it's a tangible something that you can hand out to people. And I have a couple of different designs because I use Vistaprint, which is super inexpensive, especially if you take advantage of their Black Friday special. But and then I just write on the back of what that 6-digit code is, so that way they can kind of give, you know, a tangible thing if that is, you know, an option for you. But for gift cards, what's important is for you to have some sort of an offer that you know, makes it more appealing for them to purchase a gift card. Memberships are also attractive. So if you have some sort of a season pass or membership, you know, doing some sort of very limited sale can, you know, kind of, you know, get people to incentivize them. Maybe you, maybe something is included, you know, like we'll just say maybe group lessons, or you know, something that makes purchasing that membership unusual during the holiday season, where they kind of get an added perk, which would make them want to make that purchase. We can also do lesson packages. That works well. And if you have a restaurant or want to push food and beverage, you know, just kind of make sure that you're thinking that through. Right now during COVID, it might make sense if you have an actual full-fledged restaurant for you to have some sort of a you know, a pickup meal and go for, you know, the Thanksgiving time, or any of those types of, you know, holiday parties. You know, we don't really know exactly what that's going to look like. And so be thinking about, you know, how can you maybe take advantage of food and beverage and make it easy for someone, whether it's a take and bake or something like that. People do not really like to cook anymore. And so whatever you can do, although they probably have been cooking a lot more since March, but whatever you can do to make their jobs easier where they can purchase from you, that is also a good option. And then punch cards always work fantastically in the golf world, whether or not it's punch card for golf, or maybe it's 9 holes, and you know, with cart, without cart, have a variety of different punch cards that work. All right, the next step, once you kind of figure out what type of product is what you want to offer in for your holiday, is that now you have to define your offer. Now, this is something that most golf courses really struggle with, because we've been coached to not discount our times, and we're very hesitant to offer some sort of a sale. But the fact is that the reason that Black Friday and Cyber Monday work is because they are nationally recognized as a sale. So if you're only going to offer, you know, 10% off or 5% off, or it doesn't really feel like it's a good deal, you're not going to have as much movement and selling as you would if it's something where they're like, wow, that is a fantastic deal. And so just remember that it needs to be some sort of a sale. So whether or not you price things accordingly, you know, what I always like to do, so some of the things that I offer at my family's golf course is we do what's called a loaded foursome. So this is lunch, driving range, golf for 4 with cart. And so, and then we sell it at a major discount over Black Friday. But I also always put, you know, a savings of $100 or, you know, whatever that is. So just make sure that, you know, you're telling the people that it is, you know, a deal, and that, and they understand that it is a sale. And then you need to make sure that you're willing to, you know, get comfortable with offering some sort of a deal. for managed marketing services, we have found that people, when they only offer like 10% off, they just don't sell a lot. 10% just isn't very much. But I have a cat that really wants to jump up here on my desk. Sorry about that. Anyway, so they at 10% is just, you're just not going to get as much movement. Once you hit the 20-25%, now you're going to be able to see some more movement. Another thing for gift cards that works nicely is if you do an add-on. So for instance, you buy a $50 gift card and you get a $10 gift card for free. Or maybe if you buy $100 in gift cards, you get some sort of a discount or an add-on. So a lot of those types of sales, sometimes you can work around the percentage off by offering some sort of an add-on instead. And so, like I said earlier, this is a national scale. So if you're not, all in, then I wouldn't recommend doing it. So if you're not going to have a fantastic offer, you got to make it count, because, they have those doorbuster deals, right? Where, people are, lined up at Target at, 4 o'clock in the morning. And the reason they are is because the sale is really good. So you need to kind of map out, like, what does that look like? So, maybe what you can do is, you have a really good sale and it's only a one day, or maybe it's for the first 100 purchases, or, you can do all kinds of things where you're not giving away the farm, but you are marketing it and getting product to move. The other thing that you want to keep in mind is that you want to make sure that whatever your offer is, you make it easy, okay? You have 3 different things that you're thinking about. So sometimes with our managed marketing services, we'll have, a golf course where they have 20 different percentage offs. So let's say they have 20% off apparel, they have 10% off of sleeve of balls, 15% off of memberships, and it's all over the place. We don't personally recommend doing that because it makes it complicated for the staff. It makes it super complicated for your marketing, and now your customer can't remember the sale as well. So when you're working on defining that offer, keep all of those things in mind so that you are making it easy for execution on all areas. And then the type of sale is also, there's tons of different ways that you can do this, and you need to be thinking about what type of sale do you want to do in your branding. Do you want it to just be just holidays in general? Do you want to do multiple types of sales? So what I mean by that is, during the holiday season, there's really, several different things you can kind of, hang your hat on. So you have Black Friday, which is the day after Thanksgiving. You have Cyber Monday. And then you have Small Business Saturday, and then you also have 12 days of Christmas. So you need to be thinking, do you want to participate in all 4 of those? Do you just want to call it holiday planning in general? Do you want it just to be a month-long deal? Do you want to offer different products and services and specials for each one of those? I don't personally recommend that. I have done that before, and it is a lot of work, and you don't leave your computer and you're up till 3 in the morning. But if you have a big staff and you're ambitious, it absolutely works well. And you can, it's amazing once you train your golfers. My golfers start, they'll start emailing me in November, about, like, what are you doing this year? And this is just because, after 10 years, they know that I'm going to do something big over the Christmas holiday. So if this is the first time you've ever done that, don't be disappointed. Most of our first time users with managed marketing services, they really only bring in maybe $3,000 to $5,000, which, certainly is nothing to, shake a fist at, but the ones who are, the year over year, they start increasing because we're starting to, develop that consistency, which is so important in marketing. So I'll just go over a couple of ideas. So sometimes for our Black Friday, sometimes we'll do a 4-day event where, they get that special on those 4 days. So scarcity sells. So, just be thinking about that, of whether or not you want to have, a very hard deadline of I'm only going to be offering 25% off this for these 4 days. And that obviously encompasses Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and Small Business Saturday. So you can kind of package those all together. Sometimes what I have done for the 12 days of Christmas is sometimes it's a good way to, kind of generate, we'll say customer appreciation over that period of time. And so you can also use it as a way for social building, to build your likes and those types of things. So sometimes I don't do this all the time because it is a different, it's an amount of work, but I'll give away something for 12 days. And I do it where they have to like my page and, share the post or something like that. And so we start out small and count down those 12 days of Christmas. And, we give away a sleeve of balls, a round of golf, a bucket of balls, a lesson, all those types of things. But, what we're actually doing is we're marketing all of the different types of services that we offer at the golf course. And so it kind of gets people to, I'll also put links, hey, if you weren't a winner, you can also purchase a lesson package here to the website. So lots of ways that you can, use that 12 days of Christmas to also generate things. And then in our managed marketing services, some people, continue that sale. If they've had a really good response, they might, do another sort of countdown during that 12 days of Christmas as well. So just be thinking about the offer and don't be overwhelmed. Just pick one, especially if it's your first year, and then know that you can always grow from there. All right, this is super important, and this comes from experience. So as I mentioned, the first year that I did this, I was just like kind of playing around, and my staff, I don't even think I told my family what I was doing. And I certainly didn't think it was going to work as, well as possible. So the first time I did this, all I sold was one product online, and I sold loaded foursome. And I sold 100 of them. I absolutely did not think I was going to sell 100 of them. And so that was a learning experience. And of course, I was really nervous that maybe I had, destroyed my spring or something like that. And all of my concerns were not valid. It really worked fantastically. And, people continued to use that little loaded foursome, throughout the year. So just be thinking about how you want to define the system so that you can track your success. This is super important. So, oh yeah, Tanya is raising her hand here. Let's see if she's got, do you have a question, Tanya, or was that an accidental raise your hand? If you have a question, just type it in the chat or the questions and I can address it live. What I personally use is I use the promotions inside of Teesnap. And that way I can make sure that I am tracking the rounds of golf or the, loaded foursome for me is golf, cart, lunch, and range bucket for 4 people. And if they come with 3, I say too bad. We don't, and it's all very clearly defined. That you snooze, you lose. You should have brought 4 people. So that's what my loaded foursome includes. And when they check in at the golf shop, let's see here, the cost, I think it's $150. When they check in at the golf shop, we have these little loaded foursome meal tickets. And so those 4 golfers, then, we give those out. And so when they're making the turn, then they turn in that ticket in order to get the meal. The meal is just sandwich, chips, and a soft drink. So that's what we've done there. And then I also do, I have something I call geezer golf. I know that's silly, but I like to be silly. And this is a way to offer it for seniors because I had a bunch of seniors, they would be like, I want to buy the loaded foursome. Do you have a senior price? And so that's why we call that geezer golf, and we require at least 1 senior to be in the foursome for that. So I think that one is $100. So anyway, those are, so how under promotions inside of Teesnap, I have loaded foursome, I have geezer golf. And so when the golfer comes to check in, that's how we track it. So then they go ahead and ring up the sale, but then it's a 100% off promotion. And that way I can run that report under promotions to, verify all those types of things. Let's see here. Okay, let me get my, so the other important thing is to write up instructions for your staff, because what's going to happen is you're going to send out this email about your holiday, and your phone's going to ring off the hook, and they're going to want to call and place the order. They're going to want to do all kinds of things that you never in a million years would have predicted. And so for me personally, at my golf course, I'm very firm. I only do an online sale, and they can't buy it over the phone. So I'm very strict, because I'm trying to capture their data, and everything just works better when they actually use the website. And so I just tell them, hey, you need to grab a grandchild or whatever the problem is, and get them to purchase things online. And then I train the staff so that they are answering those questions as well. Because if you're like me, you might have, 18-year-old who, maybe is not the best at answering questions on the phone. And so if they have kind of written instructions of, these are the promotions we're going to be offering, these are the types of restrictions we're going to have, these are the dates of the sale, all of those types of things, you want to write it down so that it's very easy, put it by all the phones in the clubhouse, and make sure your entire staff knows exactly what type of promotion you're going to be executing. And then I also recommend having some sort of tracking doc. So at my family's golf course, we have the iPads, but I always have one main computer, because I store all of my information for all of my staff is inside of Google Drive. So they can't ever say I didn't know, because I have my handbook and training tools and the calendar of events and all, our waivers and anything that they need, inventory items, drink sheet, hospitality cart, inventory sheets, everything is there in the Google Drive. And so I want to empower them to be able to, figure out where all that stuff is. And so it is all inside of that Google Drive. And I have a tracking doc of what types of things are purchased in the online store on a spreadsheet that people can track. And that's kind of how we make sure everything works well there. And then the other thing that you want to consider is, you don't want the check-in when they actually go to redeem the offer. You don't want it to be cumbersome for your golfer. So, you may not want to use my system exactly, because, I have refined it over the years, and it requires, a handful of, technicalities. But I just be thinking about that as like, when the golfer comes to redeem it, you want it to be easy for them. So, how can you make it be as easy as possible for them so that they can, get out there and play golf? So redeeming the offer should not be complicated. And then once again, whether or not that you want to have some sort of delivery and pickup, and what does that delivery and pickup look like? So next week, when I cover website, I'm going to show you how you can write an email attached to your product that when they purchase that product, they get a follow-up email with instructions. And then obviously you would want to have all of that written down for your staff as well, because they can call, and you can have your hours of operation. Some people have limited hours in the winter. So all of those types of things should be communicated, because the more professional and organized you look to your golfer, the better your sale is going to be. And then you also want to kind of think about what's the distribution of the digital product? What does that look like? And how do you want to accomplish that? So, if you're going to do the punch card route, we have several of our managed marketing services. They will mail out the punch card, or they will, they have an email that says, thank you for purchasing the punch card, please pick it up in the spring. And then it's a pretty certificate that then you can print and, say, please print this certificate and, use it as the gift. So what's funny is, at my golf course, we have some people, like, the stuff they print is so fancy. It's crazy. And we've even had a few people, like, where they've laminated it and so, but give the person something, so that the digital product is not just this, boring email. Nobody wants to get an email for a Christmas gift. All right. The next thing you want to talk about is the customer experience. What does that customer journey look like? And so you want to be super thoughtful about your website navigation. So what does that experience look like? How easy is it? And, for instance, direct links to the product are super important in the emails. I find every time I just put, send a link directly to the shop and not to the product, inevitably I will get, emails be like, I can't find this, or I didn't know how to do this. And, it's just exhausting. So, be thinking through, and then obviously you're going to want to take notes, because in this first year, you're going to make some mistakes. And like I said, I'm sure you're all aware, golfers surprise us every day with what crazy question they're going to ask next. The next thing is that if you're going to have a shop where you're doing something for Black Friday in your actual pro shop, then I recommend decorating, and I recommend decorating sooner than later. And then in your decorations, be promoting, these are the things that are going to be going on sale on Black Friday. So use that current foot traffic that you may or may not have. I know here in Iowa, the weather has been, really lovely for October, but especially if you're in, one of the southern states, take advantage, put up some Christmas trees, put up some flyers, get that excitement building now. It's very important to do that. And then you can also put, a banner out at the clubhouse. I probably should work for Vistaprint, because I can't push them all the time, but, they're so inexpensive to, get a banner that says, gift cards on sale, holiday or something like that. They're just not very expensive. You put them out there with a couple of fence posts, and get people who are driving past to be excited as well. Because what's so cool about, doing holiday planning is that you're not marketing to just golfers, you're marketing to people who love a golfer. Those are the types of people we're trying to attract, because they are the ones who are going to, possibly purchase. So not only will the golfer say, hey, I want this, but then, we want to be able to attract those people. And then the homepage is super important. I'm also going to show you next week how to run some reports so that you know what your most popular pages are. So most people, one of their more popular pages, their rates page. And so it might make sense for you to put some sort of a banner or decoration or just anything to let people know that you're going to be, having a special here soon on your website. All right, the last portion, and this is not in the worksheets, and this is just me coaching you, is delegate, delegate, delegate. This does not need to be complicated, and I'm just teaching you from experience. I used to do this all alone, and it was a ton of work, and I stayed up late, and I was, I would be turning on things at like 2 in the morning, just before Black Friday, and all those types of things. And as I have gotten older and I don't know, more wise, people can do more than what you realize. So I now use, my full staff. So what we often do is they usually have a couple of breaks. So my college kids in particular, they are so good at helping me either create images or get things scheduled. There's no reason for this to be difficult, because you can schedule blog posts. You can schedule sales, you can schedule your social posts, you can schedule your Facebook ads. All of those things can be done way in advance, and then they just run like clockwork. So it's really important for you to have the deadlines in place so that you can hold them accountable. Where are these things taking place? and then have those weekly check-ins with your staff, because you just don't have to do it alone. And don't doubt their skills, because people can do more than what you realize. Yes, and just remember, you are not alone. All right, and then obviously, my door is always open. You can email me, and I will gladly help you as well. All right, so that's kind of the brainstorming, that worksheet that I provided there in the chat box. Make sure you use that, get with your staff, help to define some of these things so that you begin to know what you are planning. And next week, our webinar is going to be on website updates. So we're going to be talking about how to add that homepage banner. We'll talk about, how to decorate your website for the holidays. So what I mean by that is whether or not you want to put, some graphics or something, on that rates page, on those, highly visible pages that lots of people go to. And then we're going to talk about how to add a new product, update that product image, and then I'm going to show you how to write that follow-up email. And then I'll probably even show you, how to make an automation. Well, I guess we'll do that under the email one, but we'll talk about, how to be communicating with your customer of how to execute on this holiday planning. All right, so that kind of concludes my presentation today. I do want to just see if there's any questions that I need to answer. So if you have any questions, just put them there in either the Q&A or the chat, and I will try to answer those live. And then if I know this was a lot of information that I just gave you, and so either later today or sometime tomorrow, all of these are recorded and will be in the Knowledge Center. So you can, go back through and watch it with your staff if you find that to be beneficial. All right, so are there any questions? All right, let's see here. Do you do anything special for fall other than fall rates? So for the fall, I do a bunch of weird stuff in the fall, because as long as there's something planned, golfers will come and play golf, and the weather is always so iffy. And so like this last weekend, we had what's called a Bad Pants Open. And we do different formats as opposed to that 4-person scramble that, so many people are used to. So we did a step-aside scramble. There's a lot of clubs that do Chili Open. Tomorrow at our course, it's a national holiday. It's silly. It's Bald and Be Free Day. And so tomorrow, if you play golf and you are follically challenged, your green fees are free. So we just do a bunch of kind of silly things to try to get people to continue to be booking, even though the weather is questionable. Then the other thing we do in the fall is it's a superintendent shootout. And so this is the superintendent brings out tons, like all of the products and equipment, and he kind of almost makes an obstacle course on every hole, and then he also assigns them. We do that as a 2-person team, and he assigns, whether or not it's best ball or a scramble format or individual game, but he'll have like the blower going on a green, or he'll have like where you have to hit over a rake, or just weird, probably not a rake, a shovel, something like that, something that's not dangerous. So anyway, that's another thing that we do in the fall, and it's really fun for everyone. And so we tend to get a big sign up for that, even though the weather has the potential of being really cold. We're actually doing it on Halloween this year. I'm going to have kind of a Halloween theme with it as well. The other thing I highly recommend, if you're struggling with, if you have a lot of leftover beer inventory, we do what we call it a crappy beer open. So it's an 18 holes cart and a 6-pack of beer. And the biggest reason we do it is to get our beer inventory cleared down, because, as you guys know, the beer goes bad. And And sometimes it's hard to, manage that beer inventory. So that's another thing that we do in the fall as well. I'm trying to think, this year, it might make sense to do something for Halloween, just because with COVID, there might be a safe way for you to be able to offer that. I don't know if, people in your area, there's some cities, that aren't doing some sort of a trick or treat. So that might be something to consider. Some other items in November, I recommend doing something to do with Thanksgiving where you're having some sort of a food drive. So anything we can do that, provides goodwill. People like knowing that they are helping someone. So, maybe if they bring a can of food or, something like that, they get a discount on their green fees or whatever. Also, Veterans Day is, a good day to celebrate. For me personally, I just make my calendar be extremely full all year long, so that I'm always able to be promoting something, and then hopefully the weather holds. But primarily, I just keep on marketing regardless of weather, and hopefully somebody, some days, some years we have like huge winds because we get a random 70-degree day in November, and then sometimes it doesn't work, but we just keep always have a very eventful and fun marketing calendar. All right. Are there any other questions? Okay, awesome. I will see you next week, and hopefully I can avoid a week of no surgery. That would be really fun on my behalf. So thanks so much for joining. And like I said, check out the Knowledge Center if you want to watch a replay of this.